Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Esther and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm hopping on the TikTok train and doing the viral washed flour meat. So with me today I have 9 cups of King Arthur's bread flour. You need at least a 10% protein gluten forming content in your flour, and this one happens to be 12.7%, so that'll be great. And I have 3 cups of water here. So it's on TikTok, it's advertised as this 2-ingredient chicken, but I'm all about seasoning from within, so we're gonna add some seasonings after it rests, but we're gonna give it a try, see how it is, see how it compares to like a typical seitan made with vital wheat gluten. So let's get mixing. I'm just going to make a little divot in my flour here, and I'm going to pour the water in, and we're going to like make a dough with this. And I know 9 cups seems like a lot of flour, and it kind of is, but we're making a giant dough baby so we can let it rest, wash out all of the starch, and only have the gluten remaining. So all you have left is the protein. So it ends up like a meat. And today I'm making a chicken style seitan on my endless quest to make the perfect seitan. And I know I say this is TikTok chicken, but while I'm mixing this, I did some research on this type of seitan and how it was made throughout history, and its roots are actually in ancient China, where people made this because it was low cost, a lot less expensive than meat, because it's literally just all-purpose flour. And they've been making that in China for literally decades. And then it only moved into America, into the West, about the 18th century, where John Harvey Kellogg, Adventist supporter who ran a sanitarium, promoted it for healthy living because he was a vegetarian. He promoted the vegetarian and vegan diet and lifestyle, and that's kind of how seitan came to America, and has been in the vegetarian and vegan diet ever since. And this was also eaten during the Great Depression as cheap, poor man's chicken. And even now, even today, all-purpose flour or bread flour even is super cheap. You can buy like a bag of great value like Walmart flour for $1. You can buy the King Arthur flour, the bread flour with a higher protein content, for just like $3. So I'm going to dump this out onto my table, and I'm going to start kneading it because it started to form into a shaggy dough, and I can't really mix it anymore with my spatula. And I'm going to get to kneading this so I can make it into like a smooth ball of dough.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I've been kneading for about 10 minutes. It is really heavy, like really heavy. I'm going to submerge it in cold water, and I'll be back in about an hour.
Later.
Okay, so I'm back. It's been an hour and my dough baby has rested in its cold water. I dumped that out and I added fresh cold water. And this is going to be our first wash. I'm just going to knead it and like work with it in the bowl till the water gets super milky and I feel like I can't wash out any more starch. And I'm going to keep washing. Oh, the water's gotten white really quickly. I'm kind of getting that vibe of like when you're at a pool as a kid and you like grip your hands and like squish the water, but instead of squishing it at the other kid, I'm just squirting it at myself. Nice gluten water to the face. It's not my favorite. Okay, my water is literally the color of milk. And I'm going to save this too because I'm going to try to make like the starch bacon out of it. I've heard you can do a lot of things with it. You can make glass noodles, you can make starch bacon, you can even, like, I've even seen a video where someone made like crepe shells out of it. So you can make lots of things. So I'm going to save this, and you only save like the first batch that you rinse from. So I'm just going to put it into this bowl, set it aside for another day. New water, time to rinse again. He's still so big. again, it got white really quickly. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to do this for quite a while. Okay, so here's an up close of me washing the starch out of this gluten. This is the third wash, and the water is still really starchy. This is what he's looking like. He's a stringy mess right now. He is a hot mess, but we're gonna keep washing. Keep on keeping on.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so this is what we are left with after washing. I washed it for about 15 to 20 minutes to get the water running clear. I'm a proponent of seasoning from within. Some people don't do this step, but I strongly recommend it. I'm gonna add some of this McKays chicken seasoning, about a tablespoon of it. I think people are happier with their final product if they season it from within rather than just boiling it in the broth. About a teaspoon of garlic powder, about a teaspoon of onion powder, teaspoon of white pepper, maybe half a teaspoon, and then just a touch of salt. The chicken seasoning already has some salt in it, and we're going to be simmering it in a broth, but I just want to make sure it's nice and flavorful, and I'm going to knead this in all together. Okay, so now it is time for forming. I have my gluten baby here, and I'm just going to like stretch him out. A nice rectangle. We're going to be cutting these into sections to braid together. So I want it nice and long as I can get it. So I'm just going to kind of cut it where it's already tearing. So here is going to be one of the ends of the braid. And I'm just going to cut it right here too. So there we go. Just 3 strands ready to braid, and then you'd braid it like you would braid hair. Just going to put it like this. Just like that. It might not be beautiful, but that's okay. And braid it as tight as you can. And then once we get to the bottom, we're just going to kind of like tuck in the rest of these chicken pieces into the bottom. Make sure they're sticking, and then you got this nice braid. And we're going to pull it as far as it will stretch. This technique of like folding and braiding and rolling is what's going to give you the chicken shreds later. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie it as many times as I can. A lot of people get 2, some people get 3. And here is 2. Mine's not long enough to do 3, but we'll tuck that in. And it looks nice and grotesque, just like we want. And we're going to sear this on both sides to kind of give it a skin before we simmer it. Some people do that, some people don't, but I want to try it with the seared skin. So I'm going to prepare my broth, and we're going to get cooking. Okay, so this is my chicken. My pan's on a medium heat, and I just put it in there with a little bit of oil to make the skin of the chicken. And this is my chicken broth that I'm going to pour in after it's seared, so it's just in one pot. You can use veggie broth or a no chicken. I use this better than bouillon, no chicken base. Okay, so that is what our skin is looking like, just like a nice little brown crust on it. And at this point, I'm going to add our chicken stock. Gonna pour that over top. And I'm gonna simmer it in here for about an hour until it's fully cooked. So don't want it on like a full boil, but a nice simmer.
Later.
Okay, so this is the final product of my chicken. After it came out of the steamer, simmering. After it finished simmering for 2 hours, I put it in the fridge and let it cool off overnight. You only have to cool it 4 to 6 hours per the instructions, but I did it overnight and I'm here the next day. It came out to quite a bit. It expanded a lot. It kind of like unbraided in the process, and it looks like this now, but it almost expanded to like double the size as it went in just like raw. So I'm going to shred it for you. I'm just going to like rip this section off so you can see like the pullability of it. It definitely has some density to it. The consistency looks really good. It looks pretty chickeny to me. This is kind of the texture of it. It's It's really nice. It's got fibers to it. But now we're going to give it a taste test. See how it compares to some of the other seitan I have made. So. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is really good. This might possibly be like the best seitan I've ever made. This might be better than like typical seitan with the vital wheat gluten. I'm really impressed by this. This is great. It has a great consistency. It has a great pullability. It looks fantastic. It tastes fantastic. And I'm excited to eat this in my meals. So if you try this TicTok seitan washed flour method, then let me know how you like it and how it goes, because I think this is actually incredible and I'm super impressed at like how great this is. Like, oh my goodness. So definitely try it if you haven't tried it. Get you some flour, wash it immediately. And I think this is great because as a price breakdown, this is cheaper than buying vital wheat gluten making seitan, and definitely cheaper than buying pre-made seitan from the grocery store. And this doesn't take super long. It doesn't take like 14 years of your life away to make this chicken. So definitely try it. You can use it in your sandwiches. I'm going to use it in some Indian butter chicken later. Super incredible. And thank you so much for watching. And if you try this chicken, let me know. It's actually super amazing. I do recommend seasoning from within, because always season from within. And I love you so much. And goodbye. It's really good chicken.
I want to try chicken.